I still remember the exact moment my brother looked at me like I was nobody. It wasn't anger in his eyes. It wasn't hate. It was something worse. It was nothing. He looked at me the way you look at a stranger on the street. Someone you pass by without thinking twice. Someone who doesn't matter. We were standing in our mother's kitchen. The same kitchen where we used to steal cookies when we were kids. The same table where we did homework together. The same window where we watched storms and made up stories about thunder being giants bowling in the sky. But that day, everything felt different. Cold. Empty. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't slam doors. He just said, very quietly, "I think it's better if we don't talk anymore." And then he left. I stood there for a long time. I heard his car start. I heard it pull away. I heard the silence that came after. And I realized something that broke my heart into 1,000 pieces. My brother, my only brother, the person I grew up with, the person I shared a childhood with, had just walked out of my life. And I didn't even know why. That was 3 years ago. 3 long years of silence. 3 years of wondering what I did wrong. 3 years of replaying every conversation, every moment, every word I ever said to him. People ask me sometimes, have you tried calling him? Yes, I have. He doesn't answer. They ask, have you tried texting? Yes. He reads them. He never replies. They ask, maybe he just needs time? 3 years is a lot of time. The truth is, I lost my brother. Not to death. Not to distance. But to something I still don't fully understand. And that's the hardest part. Not knowing. Not understanding. Just living with this emptiness where he used to be. This is my story. The story of how my brother became a stranger. My brother's name is Daniel. We call him Danny. Or at least, I used to call him Danny. He's 2 years older than me. Growing up, that felt like a big gap. When I was 5, he was 7. When I was 10, he was 12. When I was struggling with middle school, he was already in high school, acting like he knew everything. But we were close. Really close. Our parents worked a lot. Dad was a truck driver. He'd be gone for days, sometimes weeks. Mom worked double shifts at the hospital as a nurse. She'd come home exhausted, barely able to keep her eyes open. So Danny and we took care of each other. He taught me how to ride a bike. I was scared at first. I kept falling. But he held the back of my seat and ran alongside me, telling me I could do it. When I finally rode on my own, he cheered louder than anyone I'd ever heard. I helped him with his English homework. He was good at math and science, but he hated reading. I loved books. So I'd read his assignments and explain them to them in simple words. We made a good team that way. We had our fights, of course. What siblings don't? He'd hide my stuffed animals. I'd change the channel when he was watching his favorite show. We'd argue over who got the last piece of pizza. Normal stuff. But at the end of the day, we were always okay. Always on the same side. I remember one time, I was being bullied at school. This girl, Amanda, she made fun of my clothes. My hair. The way I talked. She'd laugh at me in front of everyone. I came home crying almost every day. Danny noticed. He didn't say much at first. He just watched me. One day, he sat down next to me on my bed and said, "You know you're better than her, right?" I shook my head. I didn't feel better than anyone. The first real sign that something was wrong came about 6 months after the wedding. It was Mom's birthday. We always celebrated together. Every year, without fail. It was a tradition. Danny and I would go in together on a gift. We'd bake her favorite cake. Chocolate with vanilla frosting. We'd sit around the table and make her feel special. That year, I called Danny 2 weeks before her birthday. I wanted to plan everything like we always did. "Hey," I said when he answered. "Mom's birthday is coming up. Should we do the usual?" There was a pause. A long pause. "Actually," he said slowly, "Sarah and I were thinking of taking her out to dinner instead. Just the 3 of us." I felt my heart drop a little. "Oh, okay. Should I meet you there?" Another pause. "I think Sarah wanted it to be more intimate. You know, small. Just us." I didn't know what to say. I stood there holding the phone, trying to understand what I'd just heard. "Danny, it's Mom's birthday. We always celebrate together. I know, he said. His voice sounded tired. But things are different now. I have a wife. I have to think about what she wants too. I'm not asking you to choose, I said quietly. I just want to be there for Mom. You can see her another day, he said. It's not a big deal. But it was a big deal. To me, it was a very big deal. I hung up feeling confused. Hurt. I didn't understand why Sarah would want to exclude me. I didn't understand why Danny would agree to it. I called Mom and told her I'd take her to lunch the day before her birthday. She sounded happy. She didn't ask questions. I didn't tell her what happened. I didn't want to worry her. But that was the first crack. The first moment I realized something had changed between Danny and me. After that, things got worse. Slowly. Gradually. Like a plant dying so slowly you don't notice until it's already gone. Danny stopped calling me. He used to call at least once a week. Just to talk. Just to check in. But after Mom's birthday, the calls stopped. I'd be the one calling him. And half the time, he wouldn't answer. When he did answer, the conversations were short. Awkward. Like talking to someone you barely know. How are you? I'd ask. Good. Busy. How's work? Fine. How's Sarah? She's good. That was it. No details. No stories. No laughter. Just short answers that told me nothing. I started to feel like I was bothering him. Like I was an inconvenience. So I stopped calling as much. I didn't want to be a burden. The next time I saw him was at Thanksgiving. Mom insisted we all come together. Danny and Sarah arrived late. They stayed for 2 hours and then left, saying they had plans with Sarah's family. I tried to talk to Danny while he was there. I asked him about his job. He'd just gotten a promotion at the engineering firm where he worked. I was proud of him. I wanted to hear about it. It's fine, he said, barely looking at me. Just more responsibility. That's great though, I said, trying to sound encouraging. You worked hard for that. He nodded. But he didn't smile. He didn't seem excited. He just seemed distant. Sarah was polite but cold. She smiled when she needed to. She answered questions when Mom asked her things. But she never looked at me directly. Never asked me anything. Never included me in conversations. I felt invisible. After they left, Mom looked at me with sad eyes. Is everything okay between you and Danny? She asked. I forced a smile. Yeah, Mom. Everything's fine. He's just busy with married life. She didn't look convinced. But she didn't push. Christmas was even worse. I bought Danny and Sarah a nice gift. A set of wine glasses they'd mentioned wanting. I wrapped it carefully. I wrote a card telling Danny how much I loved him and how proud I was of the man he'd become. We agreed to meet at Mom's house on Christmas Eve. I got there early to help Mom cook. I set the table. I put on Christmas music. I tried to make everything feel warm and happy. Danny and Sarah showed up an hour late. No call. No text. Just late. When they walked in, Sarah was on her phone. She barely said hello. Danny looked uncomfortable. We sat down to eat. Mom asked about their plans for the new year. Sarah talked about a trip they were planning. A vacation to Europe. Just the two of them. That sounds wonderful, Mom said. How long will you be gone? 3 weeks, Sarah said. 3 weeks. I said, surprised. That's amazing. You're going to love it. Sarah finally looked at me. Really looked at me. And her expression was cold. Annoyed. Well, we work hard, she said. We deserve a nice vacation. There was something in the way she said it. Like she was implying I didn't work hard. Like I didn't deserve nice things. I felt my face get hot. But I didn't say anything. I just nodded and looked down at my plate. Danny didn't say anything either. He just sat there, quiet, eating his food. After dinner, I gave them their gift. Sarah opened it. She looked at the wine glasses for about 2 seconds and said, "Oh, thanks." That was it. No smile. No warmth. Just thanks. Danny mumbled a thank you too. But he didn't look at me when he said it. They left right after. They didn't stay for dessert. They didn't help clean up. They just left. I stood at the window and watched their car drive away. I felt something break inside me. Something I couldn't fix. Mom came up behind me and put her hand on my shoulder. "Give him time," she whispered. "He'll come around." But I didn't believe her. I was losing my brother, and I didn't know how to stop it. The months after Christmas were the loneliest I'd ever felt. I tried to give Danny space. I told myself that maybe Mom was right. Maybe he just needed time. Maybe marriage was harder than I thought, and he was adjusting. But the silence was killing me. I'd see his posts on social media. Pictures of him and Sarah at restaurants. Pictures of them hiking. Pictures of them at parties with friends I didn't recognize. He looked happy. He looked like he was living a full life. A life that didn't include me. I wanted to be happy for him. I really did. But every time I saw those pictures, I felt this ache in my chest. This feeling of being left behind. I thought about calling him so many times. I'd pick up my phone. I'd scroll to his name. My finger would hover over the call button. But then I'd remember the short conversations. The awkward silences. The way he barely looked at me at Christmas. And I'd put the phone down. I didn't want to force myself into his life. I didn't want to be the sister he felt obligated to talk to. I wanted him to want to talk to me. But he never called. In March, Mom got sick. Nothing serious, just a bad flu. But she was in bed for a week, too weak to take care of herself. I took time off work. I stayed at her house. I made her soup. I brought her medicine. I sat with her and watched old movies until she fell asleep. I called Danny to let him know. "Mom's sick," I said when he answered. "Just a flu, but she's pretty weak. I'm staying with her for a few days." "Okay," he said. "Thanks for letting me know." That was it. "No, how is she?" "No, do you need help?" "No, I'll come by." Just okay. I waited 3 days. Danny didn't come. He didn't call Mom. He didn't even send a text asking how she was. On the 4th day, I called him again. "Danny, Mom would really love to see you," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "She keeps asking about you." He sighed. A long, tired sigh that made me feel like I was annoying him. "I'm really busy this week," he said. "Work is crazy right now. Tell her I'll try to come by this weekend." "She's your mom, Danny. She's sick. Can't you just stop by for 20 minutes? I said I'll try this weekend." His voice was sharp now. Irritated. I felt tears building up, but I pushed them down. "Okay. I'll tell her." He didn't come that weekend. He didn't call. He didn't text. Mom pretended not to care. But I saw the way she looked at her phone. The way she glanced at the door every time she heard a car pass by. She was waiting for him. And he never came. That hurt worse than anything he'd done to me. I could handle him pulling away from me. But watching him hurt Mom? That was something I couldn't accept. When Mom finally felt better, I confronted him. I drove to his house. I didn't call first. I just showed up. Sarah answered the door. She looked surprised to see me. Not happy. Just surprised. "Is Danny home?" I asked. She hesitated. "He's watching TV. I need to talk to him." She stared at me for a moment, then stepped aside. She stared at me for a moment, then stepped aside. I walked into the living room. Danny was sitting on the couch, watching a basketball game. He looked up when I walked in. His face didn't change. No smile. No concern. Nothing. "We need to talk," I said. He muted the TV. "About what?" "About Mom. About the fact that she was sick for a week and you didn't even bother to visit her." He rubbed his face. "I was busy." "Too busy to see your own mother?" "Don't do this," he said quietly. "Don't make me feel guilty." "I'm not trying to make you feel guilty, Danny. I'm trying to understand. What's going on with you? Why are you acting like this?" He stood up. "Acting like what?" "Like we don't exist. Like Mom and I don't matter anymore." Sarah walked into the room. She stood next to Danny, her arms crossed. "Maybe you should leave," she said to me. I looked at her, then at Danny. "Are you going to let her talk to me like that?" He didn't say anything. My heart sank. "Danny?" He looked away. Maybe it's better if you go. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Are you serious right now? You're being dramatic, Sarah said. Danny has his own life. He doesn't need to check in with you and his mother every single day. I'm not asking him to check in every day, I said, my voice shaking. I'm asking him to care. To show up when it matters. He does care, Sarah said. He just doesn't need you guilt-tripping him all the time. I'm not guilt-tripping anyone. I'm his sister. And I'm his wife, she said, her voice cold and firm. And that comes first now. I looked at Danny. I waited for him to say something. To defend me. To tell Sarah she was being unfair. But he just stood there. Silent. I felt tears running down my face, but I didn't wipe them away. I wanted him to see. I wanted him to know how much he was hurting me. Fine, I whispered. If that's how you feel, then I'll go. I turned and walked toward the door. Wait, Danny said. I stopped. I turned around, hoping he'd apologize. Hoping he'd tell me he was wrong. But he just said, don't tell Mom about this. That was it. That was all he cared about. Not me. Not my feelings. Just keeping Mom from knowing the truth. I left without saying another word. I sat in my car outside his house and cried until I couldn't cry anymore. That was the moment I realized I was losing him. Really losing him. And there was nothing I could do to stop it. 2 months passed after that confrontation at Danny's house. 2 months of silence. 2 months of pretending everything was fine when Mom asked about him. 2 months of going to bed every night wondering what I'd done to deserve this. I stopped reaching out. I stopped calling. I stopped texting. I told myself that if Danny wanted me in his life, he knew where to find me. But he never came looking. Mom noticed, of course. She wasn't blind. She saw that Danny and I weren't talking. She saw that family dinners were just the two of us now. She saw the sadness in my eyes whenever his name came up. But she didn't ask. And I didn't tell her. Some pain is too heavy to share. Then, in May, everything came crashing down. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was at home, reading a book, trying to enjoy the quiet. My phone rang. It was Mom. Sweetheart, she said, her voice shaky. Can you come over? I need to talk to you about something. My heart started racing. Mom, what's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine, she said. Just please come over. I drove to her house faster than I should have. My mind was racing with possibilities. Was she sick again? Had something happened? Was it about Danny? When I got there, she was sitting at the kitchen table. Her hands were folded in front of her. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. I sat down next to her. Mom, what happened? She took a deep breath. Danny called me this morning. My heart skipped. What did he say? She looked at me with the saddest expression I'd ever seen. He said he needs space from the family for a while. He said he and Sarah are going through a lot right now and they need to focus on their marriage. I felt my throat tighten. What does that mean? Space from the family. He said he won't be coming to Sunday dinners anymore. He said he needs to put his wife first. He said he hopes we understand. I stared at her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He's cutting us out? Mom's voice cracked. He said it's not forever. He said it's just for now. Until things settle down. Did he say what things? What's going on? She shook her head. He didn't explain. He just said they need space. I felt anger rising in my chest. Hot. Sharp. Overwhelming. This is Sarah. This is all her. She's been pushing him away from us since they got married. We don't know that, Mom said quietly. Yes, we do. You've seen how she treats us. How she looks at us. Like we're in the way. Like we're some kind of burden. Mom wiped her eyes. Maybe. But Danny is a grown man. He's making his own choices. He's making the wrong choices, I said, my voice breaking. And he's hurting you. He's hurting both of us. Mom reached over and took my hand. I know, baby. I know. We sat there together, holding hands, both of us crying for the boy we loved. The boy who used to laugh with us. The boy who used to call just to say hi. The boy who is now a stranger. I left Mom's house feeling broken. But I also felt something else. Determination. I wasn't going to let this go. Not this time. I needed answers. I needed to know why Danny was doing this. I needed to hear it from him. So I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I drove to his house again. It was late afternoon. Sarah's car wasn't in the driveway. Just Danny's. I knocked on the door. Hard. I wasn't leaving until he talked to me. He opened the door. When he saw me, his face fell. What are you doing here? We need to talk. Right now. This isn't a good time. I don't care. You just told Mom you're cutting her out of your life. You owe us an explanation. He looked over his shoulder, then stepped outside and closed the door behind him. Keep your voice down. Why? Is Sarah going to hear? Is she going to get mad that you're talking to your own sister? His jaw tightened. You don't know what you're talking about. Then explain it to me, Danny. Help me understand. Because right now, all I see is my brother abandoning his family for a woman who doesn't even like us. Sarah has nothing to do with this, he said, but his voice wasn't convincing. Really? Because it sure seems like every problem started the day you married her. He stepped closer. His eyes were hard. Cold. You need to leave. Not until you tell me the truth. What happened to you? What happened to the brother who used to care about me? Who used to care about Mom? I still care, he said through gritted teeth. Then why are you doing this? Why are you pushing us away? He was quiet for a long moment. I could see something in his eyes. Something struggling. Something fighting to get out. But then the door opened. Sarah stood there, her face tight with anger. What's going on? She asked. Nothing, Danny said quickly. She was just leaving. Sarah looked at me with pure hatred. You need to stop showing up here uninvited. I'm talking to my brother, I said. He doesn't want to talk to you, she snapped. Can't you take a hint? I looked at Danny. Is that true? You don't want to talk to me? He wouldn't look at me. He just stared at the ground. Danny, I whispered. Please. Sarah stepped in front of him. He asked you to leave. So leave. I felt tears streaming down my face. But I didn't move. Danny, look at me, I said. He finally lifted his head. And when our eyes met, I saw it. The moment. The exact moment I lost him. He took Sarah's hand. He stepped back. And he said the words that destroyed me. I think it's better if we don't talk anymore. And then he went inside. And closed the door. I stood there on his porch, staring at that closed door, feeling like my entire world had just collapsed. My brother was gone. And I didn't know if I'd ever get him back. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my mind. Every word. Every look. Every moment that led to this. I kept thinking about the way Danny looked at me. The emptiness in his eyes. The way he chose her over me without even hesitating. Part of me wanted to be angry. Part of me wanted to hate him for what he'd done. But mostly, I just felt sad. Deeply, unbearably sad. The next morning, I went to see Mom. I had to tell her what happened. I couldn't keep it from her anymore. She cried when I told her. Not loud, dramatic crying. Just quiet tears that rolled down her cheeks as she listened. I'm sorry, I said. I shouldn't have gone there. I shouldn't have pushed. She shook her head. No. You did what any sister would do. You tried to fight for him. But I lost, I whispered. She reached across the table and held my hand. Sometimes we lose people we love. Not because we did anything wrong, but because they're not ready to be found. Those words stayed with me. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. I stopped checking Danny's social media. I stopped driving past his house. I stopped waiting for him to call. I had to let go. For my own peace. For my own healing. Mom and I grew closer during that time. We had dinner together every Sunday. Just the two of us. We talked about everything except Danny. We laughed. We shared stories. We found joy in each other's company. She never said it, but I know she was hurting too. I know she lay awake at night wondering where she went wrong. Wondering why her son didn't want to see her anymore. But we healed together. Slowly. Carefully. One day at a time. I started focusing on my own life. My own happiness. I spent time with friends. I took up painting. I traveled to places I'd always wanted to see. I learned that life doesn't stop just because someone leaves it. 3 years passed. 3 long, quiet years. And then, one Tuesday afternoon, my phone rang. It was Danny. My heart stopped when I saw his name. I stared at the screen for several rings before I answered. Hello. My voice was shaky. Hey. His voice was soft. Broken. It's me. I didn't know what to say. So I just waited. I know I don't have the right to call you, he continued. I know I don't deserve your time. But I need you to know something. I could hear him crying. Danny. My strong, protective brother. Crying. Sarah and I are getting divorced, he said. I felt a wave of emotions. Shock. Sadness. And something else I couldn't name. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. I'm not, he whispered. I should have ended it a long time ago. I should have seen what she was doing. How she was pushing everyone away. How she made me push everyone away. Danny. No, let me finish. Please. He took a shaky breath. I was wrong. About everything. I let her convince me that you were the problem. That mom was too needy. That I had to choose between my family and my marriage. And I chose wrong. I chose so wrong. Tears were streaming down my face now. I miss you, he said, his voice breaking completely. I miss Mom. I miss Sunday dinners. I miss having a sister. I miss having a family. I closed my eyes. We missed you too. Can you forgive me? He asked. I know it's asking too much. I know I hurt you. I know I hurt Mom. But please tell me there's a chance. I thought about all the pain, all the lonely nights, all the tears, all the moments I wanted my brother and he wasn't there. But I also thought about who he was before all of this. The boy who taught me to ride a bike. The boy who defended me from bullies. The boy who cheered louder than anyone when I succeeded. That boy was still in there somewhere. Buried. Lost. But still there. Yes, I said quietly. I forgive you. He sobbed on the other end of the line. Thank you. Thank you. But Danny, I said firmly. This is going to take time. You hurt us. Badly. We can't just go back to how things were. I know. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. To Mom. I promise. We talked for an hour that day. Really talked. For the first time in 3 years. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy. But it was a start. The road to healing is long. There are still hard days. Still moments when I remember the pain. Still scars that haven't fully healed. But my brother is back in my life. He comes to Sunday dinners now. He calls Mom every week. He's trying. Really trying. And that's enough for me. Because at the end of the day, family isn't perfect. People make mistakes. People hurt each other. People get lost. But if there's love, there's always hope. And I still love my brother. Even after everything. Thank you for listening to my story. What would you do in my place? Would you forgive your brother? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories about family, forgiveness, and healing. There are many more stories waiting for you. Until next time, take care of yourselves and the people you love. With heartfelt greetings,